what is it they say about pride? That it goes before a fall, right? Well, in that case, Mitch McConnell had his moment of pride a couple months ago, and now, in spectacular fashion, he is watching it as his beloved Republican Party falls. Because you see, Mitch McConnell went on Fox News this week talking to Bret Baier, where Mitch McConnell was more somber, a little bit tempered, with his expectations for November. And this is what Mitch McConnell had to say. I think it's going to be very tight. We have a 50-50 nation, and I think when this Senate race smoke clears, we're likely to have a very, very close Senate still with us up slightly, or the Democrats up slightly. Now, a couple months ago, Mitch McConnell went out there telling reporters, boldly, bravely, with that smug little smile on his face, that this November is going to be very good for Republicans. Do you remember that? Because I sat here and I talked about it at the time. It's going to be very good for Republicans. And he even mentioned how in the 90s, Republicans had a great resurgence, and they actually predicted that this year was going to be so much better for them. And now here he is on Fox News, sheepishly, that idiot smile gone from his face, kind of doing his little sad turtle thing, saying, well, maybe a slight advantage Republican, maybe a slight advantage Democrat. Because what's happened is that Mitch McConnell, who is not an idiot, by the way, full credit for Mitch McConnell not being stupid. And he pays attention. And he's watching the polls. And we have now had at least 5 different polls from 5 different organizations in the last 2 weeks show that generic Democrat is beating generic Republican on the midterm ballot. The latest poll shows it's beating them by 7 points. Everything has flipped. A year ago, Republicans were set to take back the House, likely take back the Senate in a red wave that was going to sweep over Congress, basically the same way the blue wave did in 2018. But now even Mitch McConnell's like, yeah, it's probably not going to happen. So, oopsies, right? I guess I got a little excited. Maybe I jumped the gun a little bit. And look, I'm not saying Democrats are going to retain control of the House. I'm not even saying Republicans aren't going to have big wins. What I am saying is that right now, the polling shows that that's not going to happen for the Republicans. The polling could change. It changed from 2 weeks ago. Who's to say it can't change 2 weeks from now? Well, the candidates. Those very same candidates that, again, earlier this week, Mitch McConnell was bitching about because he says they're, quote, unwinnable people. Yeah, that's what happened to Mitch McConnell. He sees what's happening in Pennsylvania, where the latest polling data has Dr. Oz down 14 points to John Fetterman. He sees Herschel Walker in Georgia say the dumbest things you could imagine. Even with Fox News trying to rehab his campaign, he's failing. He sees people like J.D. Vance in Ohio not doing as good as expected. He sees other Trump-backed candidates winning primaries that Republicans really didn't want them to win. And he's terrified. The Republican Party is terrified. Trump has backed some of the worst people in this country, and though a lot of them have lost in the primaries, there's plenty of them that haven't. And it saddled the Republicans with enough nut job people that they could lose. Democrats right now are actually poised to gain 3 seats in the Senate. It's actually, Pennsylvania, Ohio, and possibly a third elsewhere. Georgia, of course, the race with Herschel Walker, that seat is already held by a Democrat, so remains to be seen. I think Missouri is actually the other one. Either way, Mitch McConnell sees the writing on the wall, and nothing brings me greater joy than to watch him have to wipe that little smile off his face, that little smirk he gets. Because a month ago, the man was cocky as could be that Republicans were going to dominate in the midterms, and here he is this week, sheepishly hanging his depressed little head, telling us that, well, Democrats probably have a slight advantage. You're damn right they do. And you have nobody to blame but but yourself. Hey everyone, this is Aspen. And did you know that for the low cost of $0 per day, you can subscribe to the Fair and Balanced YouTube channel? We also encourage you to like, comment, and share, but again, click that subscribe button and help Aspen not be so grumpy.